Welcome to the James Wilson Marshall House, home of the Lambertville Historical Society. This historic building was preserved and converted into a museum through the sustained efforts of Alice Narducci and other local residents and organizations. It's a story with a happy ending. In 1964, the parish of St. John the Evangelist in Lambertville was planning to replace its school with a larger, modern school to accommodate more students. The parish-owned property included the Marshall House, built in 1816 and the childhood home of James Marshall, who discovered gold in California at Sutter's Mill in 1848, which gave rise to the gold rush. The building had been used as a convent since 1882 for the Sisters of Mercy nuns who taught at the school. It included a rear addition that served as a kitchen. Father Russell Lockman, the pastor of St. John the Evangelist, oversaw the plans to build the new school, parking lot, and playground. The old school and 3 houses would be torn down. Father Lockman believed the Marshall House should be preserved, but the prohibitive cost meant it would have to be sold and moved or demolished. He invited parishioner Alice Narducci to his office to discuss the project. Born in 1891 in Lambertville, Alice Narducci was a civic leader whose many activities included leading war relief efforts, fundraising for the needy, and chairing festivals. Alice believed that citizens would want to preserve the Marshall House. She encouraged Father Lockman to give the building to the city of Lambertville. In June 1964, Alice appealed to the City of Lambertville Board of Commissioners and the community. Mayor Harry Shepard enthusiastically supported saving the Marshall House and called for a special meeting. It was attended by only 7 people. Undaunted, Alice spearheaded the reformation of the Lambertville Historical Society, which had existed in previous decades, to preserve the Marshall House. When the society first met in September 1964, Mayor Shepard was elected president and Alice recording secretary. Many of the members were opposed to moving the building. There was little progress until March 1966. The parish broke ground for the new school, and its deadline for Lambertville's decision about the Marshall House approached. The demolition of the old school and the other buildings was imminent. Alice worried that Lambertville wouldn't accept the Marshall House and that it might also be torn down. She urgently contacted Robert Rowe, the Commissioner of New Jersey's Department of Conservation and Economic Development, and asked for the state's assistance. After negotiations between the department, the City of Lambertville, and St. John's Parish and the Bishop of Trenton, it was agreed that the state of New Jersey would accept the gift of the Marshall House from the church and assume the restoration costs. The state would lease the building to the Lambertville Historical Society. Crucially, the Marshall House would remain in its location. The restoration began in 1967. The old school was torn down. The Marshall House's rear addition, which was not historic, was removed. Alice Narducci traveled to Marshall Gold Discovery State Park in Coloma, California in 1967 and represented Lambertville on Gold Discovery Day. As Lambertville Historical Society president from 1968 to 1973, Alice helped lead the collection of Federal and Victorian furniture and the creation of the museum. The James Wilson Marshall House opened to the public in October 1974. In 1996, the Lambertville Historical Society launched the Alice Narducci Award to honor a local hero and to recognize excellence in historic preservation. See, we told you there was a happy ending. The future is bright as well. Still headquartered in the Marshall House, the Lambertville Historical Society remains dedicated to preserving this museum and other buildings, and to understanding and celebrating Lambertville's rich history. Enjoy your visit!